Hello and welcome to an extra cast of Movie Theater Time Machine. And joining us today is the director of the movie Prancer, Mr. John Hancock. How are you today, sir?
I'm fine, and I'm glad to join you at this Christmas season.
We're really glad to have you as well. There's so many great things about this particular movie, and we really want to jump into it. Of how is it something? First question I want to ask you is: this something that maybe it surprises you that it's become so much of a cult classic? Has it for you?
Yeah, it has. Not entirely. I mean, Raffaella De Laurentiis developed the script to a certain
Right.
point and then asked me if I wanted to do it. And I didn't. I didn't want to do a picture about a little girl and a reindeer. But my wife said, "Oh no, do it. It'll be a classic." So there was always, I suppose, that hope, and maybe she saw something that I didn't. But she said, and I said, "I don't like the dialogue." She said, "Well, I'll fix it for you." So, and she did. So
Your wife Dorothy, right?
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so I just doing a little research on you. I see you two have done a lot of projects together.
Yeah, I think we've made 7 films together. Something like
Yeah. How does that dynamic work? With it, like, do you go home and sit down at the dinner table and have more ideas later on, or when you wake up, you're like, "Hey, what about this?" Or
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
yeah,
We don't fight, oddly
yeah.
enough. You would think that always, taking the work home, it would get tensions would build up and you'd grow to despise each other, but we have.
Oh, definitely not getting there at all. Of course not. I mean, it's always interesting when you hear about a husband and wife working together. I mean, like we do. We've been working on this podcast for 6 years now.
Almost 6?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, yeah. Right? Can you believe that too?
Mm.
Yeah. Oh, it's just interesting when you do it. So how did she punch up some of the dialogue? I'm curious about that.
Well, I think she was able to catch the voices of the little girls, of the kids, in a much better way than the draft that I initially read. I mean, she rewrote most of the dialogue.
Wow.
Not for those powerful scenes where Sam reads the book to her. That's all the original script, but a lot of the dialogue is Dorothy.
Wow.
Was it originally to How Do You Do, Fellow Kids?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. Now, when you're speaking with Sam Elliott, I mean, how you also did Bang the Drum Slowly,
Right.
as well. I mean, how does he compare to somebody like Robert De Niro?
Well, they're both wonderful actors. They're much different. I mean, Sam has a persona that he is pretty much, that's what you get, and I like what I get. De Niro depends on he's like a chameleon. He depends on a disguise he puts on, grows each character into quite a different thing. So they're in a way, there are two kinds of actors. They're the kinds of actors that benefit from disguise, and then there are the kinds that are always the same. And a lot of people are on a spectrum somehow between those two poles. I would say Alec Guinness, for example, is somebody that needs a disguise, and De Niro, and is Al Pacino? He's kind of in the middle, isn't he?
I'd say so. Yeah, I mean, he does have the persona, but he does change himself around it.
And then there's Gregory Peck and those guys and John Wayne, who, I mean, it isn't like one kind of actor is better.
Yeah.
It's like they're just two creatures. They're kind of slightly different creatures.
And so some ways, like Jimmy Stewart is the one that he
Right.
had a little versatility, but when you heard his voice, that was
yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Now I'm picturing, what if he was a voice actor for cartoons? That you would just immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hear a lot of commercials, and I know that is somebody whose voice I know, but I don't know who, I can't always tell who they've hired.
Uh, now,
It's probably all Alec Baldwin or somebody that they're,
probably, yeah, probably, and another in there.
I know it's probably not Frank Welker because if it's not an animal sound or
Right.
something.
True. True. Yeah. True. Now, I mean, you see with Sam Elliott, I mean, everybody I think knows who Sam Elliott is, even if you haven't ever seen him with that persona. But you have Rebecca Harrell, who played Jessica Riggs. This is somebody who I think is more known for her activism now, more than her acting. Was it difficult to direct somebody who's fairly new to the craft, at least as it seemed at the time?
well, she was 8, 9. So was it difficult to direct her? No. She was just like a freak of nature, sort of, right?
Yeah.
I don't think I directed her very much.
Yeah. I mean, she just seems so natural, and I know one of
Yeah.
Roger Ebert's thoughts on this movie was the fact that she just came out of nowhere but glued the whole movie together.
Yeah, I think I made my involvement dependent on being able to find the right girl.
Yeah.
And we did. We found, we got very lucky. You do a movie about a child with the wrong child, and you're an unhappy director.
Right.
Even more so than with an adult.
Well, yeah, because I don't think you can change their performance much. Not that you can really change the performance of adults very much, but certainly with a child, you're not going to have that flexibility to try to alter what they're doing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah, it
I
does.
thought, for example, that Empire of the Sun, that Christian Bale kind of ruined it. Now he became a wonderful actor later, but to me, there was a case of I mean, in E.T., Spielberg found the ideal kid. In Empire of the Sun, he did not.
Yeah, Christian Bale was very, very young then.
Yeah.
Was extremely young, as I remember. I mean, how did the casting process go with when you chose these people? I've heard at some points you have a casting director who picks everybody, and then the director comes in, who's the head honcho film director.
Well, I had a casting director, Susan Willette, that I'd worked with on Weeds and several other pictures, and so she's the one who first found Rebecca Harrell.
Yeah.
And said, "Oh, I think we found somebody that you'll like," and indeed I did. Sam, I think, was a suggestion of Cineplex Odeon. There was Garth Drabinsky's company. They wanted somebody that had a name. So they suggested,
along with Cloris Leachman, then I presume
right,
too. Right? Yeah. So when you got everybody together, I mean, what was the first table read like?
I forget. Well, obviously, immediate delight on the part of all the adults with Rebecca Harrell. I mean, because they probably approached it with the same wariness that you would think, oh, if the kid sucks, we're screwed. So it was the joy of thinking, oh, it's going to be okay. She's good.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, does it surprise you? I mean, I think we talked about it with a cult classic, but when the first initial reactions came out, I mean, what was your feeling when it was finished?
Well, you work on something so long, you feel so many things. I was very pleased. I mean, it opened at Christmas time, and I was concerned. The theaters are jammed up at Christmas time.
Right.
So I was concerned that we had the right theaters and that kind of thing. I was kind of tense about playing in the right theaters and grossing enough the first week so the theaters hold it and that kind of thing. And we did, and it worked. It made a lot of money,
Yeah, it certainly did. I mean, definitely made its money back quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. definitely made its money back. I want to talk about what some of the scenes that you had.
I do have a question.
Oh, okay.
What was it like working with the reindeer?
It was difficult. They're dangerous and untrainable, and we had 6 of them because we used them to motivate each other. And also, we were afraid that the main reindeer, whose name was Boo, would lose her antlers. So we had substitute reindeers in case she lost her antlers, because they do lose their antlers at about the time when we were shooting. The reindeer was sufficiently difficult that the crew wanted to eat it for the cast party, but
What?
well,
Don't let life imitate art.
but yeah, I did I hate the reindeer? No,
Hmm.
no, but nor did I want to eat it.
Yeah,
Oh, the reindeer's tough to work with, probably tough to eat.
yeah.
Yeah,
I heard they're a bit chewy, huh? Yeah. That's
They
true.
bite, apparently.
Yeah.
Stop, he said.
Yeah. It's
It's so nice when you're making fun
what was it like when you had to do certain shots? Like I was kind of intrigued where first off, I mean, I want to start with like where was this filmed?
it was filmed where I live now, in Northwest Indiana near LaPorte in Three Oaks, Michigan. And it was filmed on one of our farms. My parents were in the fruit business and they had 3 small farms a couple miles from each other. And this was one of our farms, one of our orchards and house and barn. And
Wow.
yeah, so that was
Oh wow, that's
that was
cool.
very satisfying to work where I grew up, and
Oh,
yeah,
But then you had to have the reindeer stomp around in the house.
yeah. But that's not the house where my parents lived. That's a house we rented. That was yeah.
oh
Gotta
yeah.
get the deposit back.
Yeah. Oh, they rented it. It should be all right. But now there's one scene I mean I'm particularly intrigued with about the cinematography portion of it. It's where Jessica and the father they're going down the road and he's telling her that she needs to live with her Aunt Sarah, and then they come face to face with Prancer. And I've roamed around, wintry streets like that in the middle, I wouldn't say in the middle of the night, but later in the night in the middle of rural New Hampshire. So, I mean, how did you get the lighting so well? And like, was that one of the scenes that you really had to get it in one shot or get it as
No.
you can?
Well, there's a little piece of road. I don't know, about 4 football fields from where I'm sitting right now, that we shot. We fastened the reindeer to the center of the road. And it actually didn't want to be fastened that night. And it put its antler through the wrangler's cheek and injured him quite badly. But anyway, so here comes Sam's car and it screeches, and there's the reindeer in the middle of the road.
Yeah.
Then we cut and we took over a factory over beyond LaPorte, and we built a road. We built an exterior road. That's a set, because I didn't want to work very much at night out of doors in January and February. I thought it'll be too cold to think, and you lose your judgment. You just get so cold that you say, "Oh, that's good enough."
Right.
So that was a set. So it was not hard to light. I mean, we had a lot of lighting instruments, and Misha Suslov was very good. And yeah.
Wow. 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 I mean, what
Also, a number of things were sets. We had
Yeah.
a number of sets. The Christmas tree lot up in Three Oaks, next to the butcher shop,
Yeah.
was both an actual location in Three Oaks and was also a set. So we wouldn't have to shoot all night again out of doors in February.
So when you had the scene where
She falls out of the tree, and
when she falls out of the tree and the
that was
cop
on the set. Yeah.
is wandering around, that was all a set during the middle of the day.
Well, yeah. I mean, and then we built what you see out of the Christmas tree. We built the street across from the Christmas tree lot so that you could
Yeah.
believe you were on the street.
Now, since it's so close to the place you grew up, I mean, was there any inspiration from scenes where you grew up?
Sure.
Yeah.
I know that Rafaela thought that's one reason why we should shoot it there. I wasn't conscious as I was shooting it that I'm really using my childhood experiences there. But I was very happy shooting where I grew up, and I'm sufficiently happy that I've done 4 or 5 other pictures. There are 6. I've done a lot of pictures where I grew up.
Yeah. What were some of the others that you shot there?
A Piece of Eden, Suspended Animation, The Looking Glass, Girls of Summer.
Girls of Summer you just did recently and was released in 2020.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's still on all the streamers pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah. And are you still working on that, or is that completed?
Oh, it's completed long
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah. Is there anything in the works right now that you're doing?
Yeah, I've got a screenplay about a New York City detective who falls in love with a serial killer, and I'm trying to cast that with actors that will get it funded. So I've got a screenplay. I have 2 screenplays I'm very excited about, but that's the one I'm most actively working on.
Yeah. Do you need extras?
Sure. Yes. Where are you in Massachusetts?
Yes. Yeah. 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 We're in Southeast Mass. Basically, if you take your finger on a map of Boston and just go straight down in the middle of Rhode Island, we're right there. Yeah.
Okay.
On the Massachusetts side of Rhode Island, actually.
What's the name of the town?
Fall River.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
We're known for a historical axe murderer
I
and
know you are, and I used to drive through all the time on the way to the Cape.
oh, neat.
Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much what we're known for there too.
The Herald News sign on the building is now a mural.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, with the legacy of this, is there, when you have these cult classics and things that come up, I mean, what's your favorite moment or your biggest favorite memory that comes up when you talk about this, even if it's been so long?
Well, probably the moment I'm proudest of is the father-daughter scene at the end where he reads to her and she says,
Oh
"I
my
love you," and just because her performance is so good there.
Yeah, but Sam Elliott starts. I admit I teared up.
Yeah.
I teared up. Very few movies have brought me to tears, and very few moments. And I did that at the end. I was just like, right,
I like.
play it back right now.
What else do I like? Well, I like the scene in the school cafeteria where they debate the existence of God, the little girls.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Maybe there's maybe there is no God,
yeah. I think when you have somebody like that, and I'm wondering if that was a punch up a bit, but where you had somebody who I kind of noticed is at first you were the Jessica character, she really was into Christmas, and I thought for a little while that she was like really into it and waiting for it as much as kids would really wait for Halloween. And then you find out years later, down the road in the film, where Sam's on the phone saying, hey, she plays her Christmas records all year.
Right.
So this is her time to shine. And I could see it. It made that scene even stronger because if she's saying, is there no Santa Claus?
Right.
If there's no Santa Claus, is there no God? And I'm like, then what about my mom?
Yeah, right.
I'm like, what happened there? Like, and it just it's interesting because the way it's written, it seems to be that the movie enhances the last scene from the next scene.
Right. Yeah, that's
like it goes on.
Invented that scene entirely, and I'm very proud of it. Yeah.
She did, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're really great, man.
I mean, she provided a motive for the principal character in essence,
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
yeah, and with yeah. Was it always written in the original draft that her mother would be dead?
Yes, I imagine. The mother is dead in every movie about a child. There's no living mother in any movie about a child.
Yeah, there's the thing with Disney, isn't it?
Yeah.
Iron
Poor
Giant,
mothers, right? They just,
Yeah,
it was his mom was single
Yeah.
because his dad died.
right.
yeah.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. Oh yeah, actually you got a point. Yeah, but that's the Disney thing,
But
is
in
the
the
absent
movie-
mother. Yeah,
And it wasn't a Disney.
yeah. In the Disney movies though, I mean, yeah, that wasn't a Disney movie, of course. That was DreamWorks. Yeah, yeah.
Was it?
Yeah.
Just specifying.
Yeah. So I mean, I think that really does it for us here. I mean, do you have any questions or anything? Sorry to put you on the spot.
I was wondering, as far as when couples work together on projects, do you have any advice for if they should, because remember early on during the play we had kind of issues because I
Yeah.
was bringing it up all the time and you'd be like, oh, let's write, and you'd be like, I'm tired, and
Yeah,
so
true.
that was kind of a stressful time, but if you can make it work, is there any advice on that?
Well, one of the things that we did is we didn't discuss the work very much. We just passed drafts back and forth. And the rule was this was a time before computers with IBM Selectric typewriters, where if you were willing to retype the scene, you could leave out the other person's lines that you didn't like. And so by just passing it back and forth, you gradually, without hurting anybody's feelings too much, you get rid of the bad parts. So, and I do think there's an advantage in not talking too much in terms of getting along, and
Yeah,
yeah.
Any reason why?
What?
Oh, any reason why you think that might help? It's me, I'm kind of the opposite. I just gush ideas and analyze things too much personally, and that's kind of a problem. So
Well, that's one of the advantages. You avoid that.
yeah. Interesting. Oh man, so I mean, Mr. Hancock, I really want to thank you very much for
Well, thank you for having me. I enjoyed
taking
it.
the time for us. We really, really do appreciate it. And for those of you who are listening to us with the extra cast, hopefully you've taken a lot of advantage of it, and listen to our review as well. This has been John Hancock. This has been an extra episode of Movie Theater Time Machine. Please take advantage of it. Look us up on movietheatertimemachine.com, and thank you so much for joining us. Have a great day.
Great. Thank you very much. All right.
All right. Bye now. Yes, please stay warm.
Okay.
Stay well.